As the days in the summer transfer window continue to tick by, it looks like Boro are no closer to signing their number one target, Callum Brittain. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And before we dig deep into, well, I was going to say updates, the lack of, really, which is the issue, the lack of progress when it comes to this signing, I just want to point you in the direction of a live stream that I'm doing tomorrow night right here on the channel. I'm going to be doing a live stream Friday evening, hopefully around 7:30. We're going to be live streaming a little bit of a Q&A here on the channel, chatting all things Boro. I was hoping we'd have some meatier stuff to discuss, maybe a transfer or two. That's not looking likely. So yeah, it seems very much like it's going to be a live stream discussing and maybe just venting about all things Boro at this moment in time. But I would encourage you guys to join me if you've got some free time tomorrow night. The live stream will be on screen. There'll be a link in the description of the video. You'll be able to find it on the channel. Hopefully, if you can join me even for a few minutes to chat, it would be awesome if you could join me there tomorrow. I hope to see you guys there. But as for now, Thursday evening, yeah, unfortunately, not great news if you're a Boro fan, because when we were hoping that maybe this week we'd see progress, this week we'd see movement on the player who was our number one target up until the Danny Ings rumour, which dropped from nowhere. Callum Brittain was the one you thought was the number one target, one of the best right-backs in the league. It looked like he wanted to come to Boro. All the stars were aligning. Maybe we'd finally get our first deal over the line. No progress. The player has returned to training with Blackburn Rovers. Valérien Ismaël did say if there was no breakthrough between both clubs, then he would return to training. And that's exactly what's happened. Now, I don't blame the player. I don't think this situation is anything all that out of the blue. You know, if it was a Boro player, I'd expect that exact type of etiquette and commitment. If there was a link with another club and nothing was seemingly imminent, there's no surprise to see him return to training. But I guess it does prove that Boro are not really any closer to making this signing than they were this time last week, or maybe even earlier than that. You know, rumours had dropped on numerous forums this week that he was at Rockcliffe, and it sounded like things were maybe moving in the right direction. Nah, nothing at all. We still are yet to agree a fee for the right back with Blackburn Rovers, and that means another week essentially has ticked by with Boro not really any closer to making our first signing of the transfer window, and it's a real concern. You know, pre-season starts on Saturday. The season is 3 weeks away, and we've not made a single signing yet. It's, yeah, concerning. I'm not in panic mode. I know some Boro fans are losing their marbles, and I get all sides. I get the sides that are starting to panic. I get the sides that are calling for calm. I'm kind of in the middle. I did sort of earmark the end of this week as the deadline that I was hoping to see signings through the door, and we haven't. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't getting a little bit twitchy around the lack of business that Boro have made this summer. And I mean, I don't quite get it, to be honest with you. I don't. You know, every other club has made moves in the Championship, barring Leicester and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are a car crash and under a transfer embargo. Leicester are equally as much of a basket case and have only just appointed their new manager. So there's not really any reason as to why Boro haven't made a breakthrough with anybody yet. But the reality is we haven't, and you've got to say it is a huge concern. So it doesn't mean the deal is dead. It still says in an article that we'll run through in a second, he still wants to come to Boro. It's still his preferred destination. So if a deal is agreed, you'd imagine it would be one that would move pretty quickly. But will a deal be agreed? That's the question. You know, Blackburn are not the easiest team to negotiate with, especially when they've got a player who's in the final year of his contract who they might lose for nothing next summer. So, you know, it all depends on what Boro want to do. You know, it's that catch-22. Do we want to pay a bit more money to get him over the line? But that might take money away from other signings, other options. I'm sure we'll have a budget, and we've already got enough positions that we need to fill this summer. So, you know, do we take a bit more money, put it into this transfer, which might mean we've got less for other transfers? You know, how will that all work with the possible sales of Raven Hackney, which haven't really moved either? Or do Boro move on to another right-back target, the next one down the list, which would mean probably starting again putting us back even further and increasing the pressure on Boro's recruitment team this summer. It really is not a nice position that we're in at the moment. So I don't envy them on one hand, but at the same time, they've got to get a move on. They've got to get a move on with these signings and with these moves. And if we don't step up and get Callum Brittain, Derby might, someone else might. You've got a player who wants to come here. So I just pray that Boro can just find a deal that works and get this thing moving. But as it stands, yeah, there's nothing. No real progress on this one, which is really, really worrying. So let's take a look at an article that has been written up by the Gazette by Craig Johns. And it says, Callum Brittain transfer update as Middlesbrough and Blackburn Rovers reach impasse. Which I guess is a way of, they've hit a bit of a brick wall. Callum Brittain has made it clear his desire to join Middlesbrough this summer. So that starts with a positive. But has returned to training with Blackburn as he awaits permission to formally speak to Middlesbrough over a much mooted summer transfer. So he's not been given permission to speak to Boro personally yet, probably because a deal's not been struck. The attack-minded right-back is Boro's current main target to fill the gap in the squad on the right side of their defence, having excelled in recent seasons at Blackburn. With just 1 year remaining on his Rovers deal, he rejected a new contract offer and has made clear his desire to pursue other opportunities, with Boro believed to be his preferred destination ahead of Derby County. There was hope of some progress over the weekend when Brittain was left out of Blackburn's squad for a friendly with Accrington Stanley. Head coach Valérien Ismaël claimed he refused to play, and according to the Lancashire Telegraph, the Frenchman who managed Brittain at Barnsley was understanding of the 27-year-old situation and offered him a few days off in the hope that negotiations between the two clubs would progress. However, as things stand, Boro and Blackburn have reached an impasse over their respective valuations of the player, and as a result, Brittain has returned to training with the Lancashire outfit. Brittain featured numerous times in a social media video from training put out by Rovers on Thursday morning. Boro are still awaiting their first transfer breakthrough of the summer, as they aim to strengthen Rob Edwards' squad ahead of the new season. While there is a need for some early flexibility as the new head coach assesses his options and the exact way he'd like his team to play, there are certain areas in the squad, one of which is right back / right wing back, that Boro know they need to strengthen regardless. As well as right back, Boro are also trying to add further reinforcements at the top end of the pitch, having held positive talks with Danny Ings, who was a free agent after leaving West Ham this summer. As well as Blackburn, they're also trying to come to an agreement with Hull for centre-back Alfie Jones. As things stand on Brittain, though, the two clubs remain apart on the valuations, leaving Boro with a dilemma. With just over 3 weeks until the new season kicks off and no new faces in the building as yet, Boro will either have to continue to play hardball in the hope Blackburn soften their stance, given Brittain's contract status and desire to leave, pay more than they ideally want to in order to get the deal done earlier, or finally move on in a completely different direction with another target. For now, Boro seem keen to stay in the race for Brittain, but bound by strict PSR constraints and needing to strengthen in a number of areas this summer, they'll be reluctant to overspend. Boro's position, other than time, is a strong one, given Brittain's contract status and desire to leave, but Blackburn's stance remains firm for now, with suggestions he might even go back into the squad for Saturday's friendly with Everton at Ewood Park. So, there we have it. It's a standoff, pretty much, at the moment, and I guess it is down to Boro. What do they want to do? Blackburn are sort of, I think the outcome with Brittain is pretty decisive there. He will leave. It's either that or they leave him for a free. So Blackburn are going to have to soften their stance at some point if they want to get any money for the right back, because I can't see him signing a new deal there. But they're waiting for Boro to step up their bid first before Blackburn eventually come down and accept a lower valuation. I really don't know. So I don't think, if you look at this as an isolated transfer, Boro are in a bad position here. But the one thing, as mentioned in this article, that we have going against us is time. It is the 17th of July, pre-season is here, and we've not made any moves whatsoever. So I don't know what's going to happen. We can only hope in the coming days someone blinks first. I don't know who that is, because this is only the first of one of many positions Boro have to try and make some sort of progress with soon, because the season is 3 weeks away, and as it stands, going into the season with the squad Boro have currently, if I'm brutally honest, as I've said before, I don't even think this squad makes the top half. So, yeah, let's see. Getting a little bit twitchy, I'm going to be honest. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on this one. If you want to chat more with me on this, as I said, a live stream will be coming up tomorrow night on the YouTube channel. I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you guys there. But until next time, guys, do take care. Thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on the video, subscribe for more. And until next time, guys, do take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.